The Voyager probes have been in space for over 45 years now, and we ask ourselves what will become of these two probes after many more years. Will they really get to a star system light years away and perhaps meet the extraterrestrials? Where are NASA's Pioneer probes, to which were launched in the 1970s as well? Voyager 1 and 2, being sent in 1977, the preferred alignment of outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, was favorable since all the four were practically in conjunction and as easy to access as they only are every 175 years. From such seeds of ideas, soon within such short period of time, NASA formed two probes that have made world history. Voyager 1 and 2 visited Jupiter and Saturn during its original mission, while the first time Voyager 2 went through Uranus and Neptune, and it was the last planetary mission of the two Voyagers. Scientists launched probes straight through the solar system in record time through what is known as gravity assist. In only few years after their launch, both probes could return photos and scientific data of Jupiter and Saturn at the first time. Voyager 1 provided the first high-resolution images of what was traditionally called the Great Red Spot on Jupiter, and realized it is a storm. It unveiled the fact of the active volcanoes on the moon Io of Jupiter and chronicled the rings and moons of Saturn. Voyager 2 also kept its mission and was the only spacecraft that studied Uranus and Neptune firsthand. It captured an image of Neptune, the ice giant, and identified new moons and rings for Uranus. Voyager 1 was in fact already on its way to the outer part of the solar system with power supplied by a plutonium-238 radioisotope thermoelectric generator. The probe has now traveling to more than 24 billion kilometers deep into open space. Close behind was Voyager 2, and it, too, is now traveling through the interstellar medium. Each of the probes is transmitting data of particles, cosmic rays, and magnetic fields daily. Although over 45 years of travel, the energy sources are gradually fading, and in recent years, NASA occasionally encounters one or two of the malfunctions from space veterans. Until now, engineers on the NASA team have time and again solved the problems that prevented the two Voyagers from working. The professionals have practiced apparatus access in such great distances, and if everything goes according to expectation, then it should be possible to receive measurement information of the interstellar environment to the close of the decade. But what will occur next year, or the next year after that, or this year, when the final batteries that feed the Voyagers, radio, have run down finally? It also means that even if Voyager 1 and 2 are still in flight millions of light years away, they cannot be sending any more pictures or data back to Earth. Hence, mathematical contradictions were made to conclude that approximately 40,000 years of Voyager 1's traveling time in space will enable the spacecraft to pass the vicinity of the star G445. By then, the probability that the production line will have moved about 17.6 light-years away should have been greatly improved. Voyager 2 will orbit the vicinity of the brightest star Sirius in 29,600 years. Neither have a specific place of origin. Instead, they are in a state of deep space, flying a little helter-skelter. They may be afloat for billions of years, and no one can predict when and if they'll ever be detected by someone. In case they will be captured by some other extraterrestrial civilization, both probes carry a golden record. As a matter of fact, the plates at the back of the LDS are not pure gold, but are copper plates plated with gold. It hosts greetings from people in various languages and images, sound, and music from Earth or space. Therefore, when the science-gathering phase is no longer possible for Voyager 1 and 2, these probes are more than mere scientific instruments. They are our emissaries of culture to the universe. Where are Pioneer 10 and Pioneer 11? Voyager gets much attention, but what has happened to Pioneer 10 and 11? Those two are also still flying somewhere out there. Pioneer 10 and 11 are part of the early flock of probes which were launched to take exploration of the solar system. Pioneer 10 was launched on 2nd of March 1972, and Pioneer 11 launched on 6th of April 1973. Both SP list adapter, scientific objectives. The primary missions of both SK and SP were to study Jupiter and Saturn, and then proceed to other regions of the solar system. Moreover, both the missions were aimed at analyzing how the space between the planets works at vast distances apart from the flybys of two gas giants. Like Pioneer 10, the first probe which crossed the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, paving way to Voyager 1. On the 18th of December in the year 1973, it flew past Jupiter at a closest, showing distance of approximately 132,000 kilometers. The probe, which pioneered 10, it took the first detailed imagery of the gaseous giant and dispatched information about the Jupiter's radiation, its immensely powerful magnetic field, and its unstable weather condition. It got only as far as interstellar, space after that by its own admission. Sadly, for this probe, it can no longer capture the instances where it is transitioning from the system into interstellar medium. Pioneer 10, sending data on cosmic rays and the solar wind for the final time in January of 2003. Today, it is located at approximately 130 AU from the Earth, moving in the direction of the Taurus constellation, which is about 19.5 billion kilometers away. Pioneer 11 also encountered Jupiter and in December 1974 transmitted from the inner zone of radiation within the gaseous planet. To do this, the scientists attempted to maneuver the probe in a stunt that was so daring that sacking Jupiter at such closeness, which was a daring act that saw Pioneer 11 come out of it intact. Radiation in the Jovian system is among the worst in the entire solar system. Once Pioneer 11 had no problem accomplishing this mission, it relayed back even more awesome imagery of the ring system and found 2 new moons. It later went to Saturn, and the spacecraft included a study of Saturn's magnetic field and a determination of the temperature of Titan. Pioneer 11, after its Saturn encounter, flew towards the general direction of the interstellar medium. It ceased in November 1995. When the energy supply denied communication and denied further interaction. Today, Pioneer 11 is most likely about 103 AU from Earth, or about 15.4 billion kilometers. This spacecraft will in all probability, in many thousands of years, get to a star system in the constellation of the Shield. Similar to the Voyager probes, the Pioneer carries greetings to aliens on space, or, as they are popular, messages in a bottle. At Interstellar Diplomats, the 2 each have a plateful of gold-plated aluminum in their bag. These are known as the Pioneer plaques, and in addendum to communicate a self-portrait, they depict man, the world, and place of Sun's neighborhood in the Orion constellation of the galaxy. Pioneers were the first to begin sending information. Back from the far ends of the solar system, then came the Voyager twins. Little activity was reported afterwards. NASA concentrated on targeting other locations until New Horizons was sent on 2006. New Horizons, mission to Pluto and beyond. In New Horizons, what NASA delivered was a technological marvel. The probe was itself one of the swiftest starts of a spacecraft ever attempted, which was launched on January 19, 2006 from Cape Canaveral on an Atlas V rocket. The first important goal of this mission was to investigate Pluto, which at that time was the 9th planet from the Sun. It was also intended that New Horizon would fly by Pluto and its moons and other objects in the Kuiper Belt. Mission was created by NASA in framework of New Frontiers program. Its main purpose was to acquire new scientific information about the still rather unexplored outer part of the solar system. While other spacecrafts had flown past the Pluto system in previous years, New Horizons was the first to study the dwarf planet up close and the first mission to return a real photograph of Pluto. All the images which we had seen were more, or less artistic creations, and we had a rather blurred snapshot taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. Hence, the first direct confrontation with Pluto was an important event in the history of space research. New Horizons mission started in 2006, and after 9 years it arrived at Pluto on 14th of July 2015. To be able to reach the record time, NASA experts applied a swing by Jupiter in 2007 in the spacecraft. Magnetic field of Jupiter was used, and it allowed to reach a velocity close to few thousands kilometers per second during contact. What many people did not realize is that New Horizons did not even go into orbit around Pluto. The probe merely flew by. The actual flyby took several days and yielded beautiful pictures of the diverse surface of Pluto, pictures of icy plains, ice-made mountain ranges, and structure that could be interpreted as cryovolcanic structures. This surprised the experts. Specifically, scientists supposed they would find a lifeless planet of rock and ice on Pluto, but Pluto revealed not only its heart but also an incredibly active surface. All the mountains that are on this planet are formed by ice, while ice is even harder than rock that we in our world are familiar with. Advection by liquid solvent, cryovolcanism, and young icy units made it likely that Pluto is warm on the inside, and this planets, like Europa and Enceladus, can have ocean of simple life. New Horizons showed that at Pluto there is only thin atmosphere, which is nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide. The probe realized that there are weather conditions on Pluto where there are complex cycles of liquid and gas that are probably seasonal, that fall thick, slabs of nitrogen ice on Pluto. After this mission, only launched once a century, for each planet, New Horizons received jaw-dropping information about Charon, Pluto's largest moon. Surprisingly, Charon could be another small planet, as everyone thought it was a moon, just like Pluto. This moon showed a wide range of geological features. They have observed a mixture of deep canyons and smooth plains that could spur the researchers into exploring the Pluto system even further, but that has to wait. New Horizons could not stay for a long time at Charon and Pluto. It was planned to go farther into the Kuiper Belt by the probe. This region beyond Neptune and Pluto is just a several 100 million km-wide rock piles area and houses some small planets. This peculiar Kuiper Belt object caused researchers special interest after New Horizons successfully flew by on January 1, 2019. The shape of the two combined bodies gives important clues to scientists about the process that fuel the link between objects, and this information could also be the answer to how irregular small planets such as Makemake or Haumea were created. Now, do you also want to know where New Horizons is today? This probe is currently 8,200,000 kilometers away from the Earth, or 55 astronomical units, which equals the average distance between the Earth and the Sun. New Horizons is still flying towards the interstellar space, but the probe will not come near the heliosphere for many years yet. If it remains operational until its final contact, New Horizons should be able to continue sending scientific data until the 2040s. When they run out of power for this probe's energy source, the radioisotope generator, it will go on continuing to sail through the galaxy as a representation of our civilization. Subscribe now. We provide fresh space and astro research videos for viewers as often as possible.